Hi Philip, hi Linda. I'm just sorting out my computer with a little mouse running around on it. Doesn't seem to want to play at the moment. Hiya Jane. What is wrong with this today? Might not be able to get it on there, but hey ho. Refresh the page. Oh, it's a bit nippy out tonight. Hiya Jill. Don't you just love technology? Hey, got it. Are we mute? Yes. There we go, up and running. Now I can see it. So, I'm hoping. Hi Brian, hi Gail, hi Sue, hi Annette. I'm hoping to be able to get through 2 tonight because I've done a lot of prep and I think they should be quite quickly, quite quick ones. They're not difficult at all. So, right, there we go. So, let's crack into it. Oh, now my computer doesn't want to work. Oh, don't you just love it? There we go. I'll have to check on my phone for comments because it ain't coming up. Right, so what we've got, I haven't got a sample of it because obviously I sent it to Julie. Hiya Jenny, hiya Kim, hiya Jax. So, but I did one slightly different, which I'll show you at the end. And this one's a different colour and slightly different flowers. But what I'm using tonight for the first one, if I can get through 2, I should think so, is Julie's Perfectly Pretty Blooms. And I'm using, on the first sample I did for Julie, I used this flower. But I've changed it up and I'm going to use this one tonight, just so you can see a little difference in them. So I'm using that one. I'm also using Hazel's square medley ones, and the one I've chosen to use out of it is the one that sits inside there, and Julie's Dinky Squares, and I've chosen to use the one that sits inside there. They're the 3 things that you'll need, and that's it. So you can imagine all the different variations of this with all the nice flowers that you've got that you can do. So I shall shift them out of the way on the floor and we'll crack on. So it's going to be just an A4 card that is folded in half, scored and folded in half, but we're going to do it landscape, okay? So the first thing I'm going to do, because I'm going to do it in lemons today, I've cut this piece of lemon card out. It's a very thin card, this one, to be fair. Hi Andreen, Pam, Heather, Anne. Hello, thank you for joining me. Super quick ones tonight. So I'm going to pop this on. I've left just a tiny little border around the outside of this, which you'll see is really quite a tiny one. But you can just see a little tiny bit of white around the outside. Just make sure it's straight. Right, and that can be drying while we go on with the rest. Now, I'm not going to cut it all out piece by piece because you will see the gist as soon as I show it you. Okay, so piece 1, we need a piece of card that is going to fit on here. Okay, so first piece we need is going to be the back, which is what we're going to stamp on, and this piece is the piece we're going to turn in to the film strip. So what I've done is I've cut a piece roughly the size of it, and I've used this square die of Julie's. I've found the middle piece and I've used it, found the middle of this. I always put a little mark in the middle, and I've cut one of them out. Okay, then I've run it through again and I've cut one out that side. Okay, and then I put it over on the other side and cut it out a 3rd time. So you've got 3 apertures. Now, I keep this one as my template because, you don't have to keep measuring then. That one is, if I'm ever going to do a template, an aperture card with 3, be it on a DL or whatever size, I always keep that, and it's number 1 because that's the first thing you do. And then you move on to the second piece. As you can see, it is that piece there. But now what I've done is I've marked, and this can be wherever you want it to be, okay? So I've marked 1 centimetre from either top and bottom and drawn a line, because that's where I'm going to start to make the film strip, okay? And to do that, you take that die of Hazel's and you run it along, tape it down, run it along the line that you've marked there, okay? Cut it out and you get that. And then you reline it up again, cut it out and keep going. And you keep going on both sides until you've got the cuts that you need all the way down. And then once you've done those, as I said, this is why I said it'd take ages to do it. Once you've done those cuts, you take your ruler, and where this is here, you lean your ruler or your trimmer, I use a ruler, along that point there, and you trim it off, and you will end up with that, which looks like the film strip that we need to put on the card. So, you know, that's how easy it is to make this look like a film strip. I hope you've got that. I'll just run it through again quickly and then you can see. Number 1, make yourself an aperture template. Okay. Number 2, once you've done your aperture template, start putting this on with the squares to make it look like a film strip. On it goes, cut it, line it up, cut it, line it up. Then you do the same thing across the bottom. Then once you've done that, you cut across there and you get your film strip. Okay, so that's that. Right, any questions on that bit? I know I'm kind of legging it through it, but it would take quite a while for me to keep cutting and bringing it back and cutting and bringing it back. So I thought I'd get that bit done out the way. So on now to the stamping. This piece here, I've measured it so it's just slightly smaller than the yellow piece, just so it's got a little thin border of yellow around the outside, and that's then going to be stuck on there. But first we have to do some stamping, and as you can see, I've used Versamark black and I've stamped all over it randomly. I haven't gone right to the top because you don't need to. I've only gone to so far down. And what I'm going to do is colour these now using an Inktense pencil. And I'm going to start from the bottom because we won't need to do all the top ones. I've just carried it right on the way up. I'm not sure how far I'm going to cut the little piece that we need yet to go over it. But I'm just going to pop some colour down. And this is 300 GSM card. Pop some colour on into the middles only, because I'm just going to get a water brush and spread it out and see what it looks like. I don't want them all totally coloured. I just want it to be darker in the centre. So I'm doing some serious scribbling. And this ink I've used to stamp these flowers out with is waterproof, so it's not going to run when you're using water on it. I think we're probably only going to go up to about there. It looked quite, when you look at the card, it looks quite difficult. It's not. It's easy. It's an easy card to do. And I'm sure once you have a go, you'll find the same, that it's easy. Right, I'm just going to put some colour on the bottom of that one because I do want it to come up. As you can see with me, I'm not over pedantic about the colouring. I quite like the watercolour sort of thing, so I might do that one as well because we may well see that one. Yeah, we'll soon see if we need to colour any of the others anyway when we cut the piece we need on top of there. Okay, so water brush. I never ever put water in my water brush because I kind of squeeze too hard on it and then it all floods. So I just, although it's a water brush, I just use it as a normal paintbrush. So hi Christine, hi Penny, hi Leslie, Thanks everyone for joining me. You're not late, Chris, don't worry. We'll be making this one anyway in class, I'm sure, so you'll be fed up of seeing it. So what I'm going to do is make sure my brush is not too wet, and I'm going to go just on the bit where I haven't got any of the pencil. I'm just going to wet that bit, and I'm going to drag the colour from one side to the other like this, and then because it's wet, it'll run wherever it wants to run. It'll stop wherever it wants to stop. I think the paper I'm using is Hazel's Mixed Media card. So I want it paler on the outside and darker inside. So I'm just kind of letting it flood itself out. And then this can be drying while we get the rest of it together. As I said, it's pretty quick. It's just the ideas sometimes, isn't it? Doing it. I know I tend to do a lot of prep on these, but you know, you can take it slow and take it as long, you know, take as long as you need to make it. But I just think it's the ideas sometimes that people want, and then they can, you know, some of them are so self-explanatory that you don't really need to see all the bits. Everybody can stamp and all, can't they? So you don't really need to see all the processes of it. If you, plus I know that you all want to go and watch your soaps. I don't watch soaps. My partner's the soap watcher, not me. So, as you can see, it's quite effective, even though it is quite a rushed way of doing it. I mean, if once it's dry, you can go back in with a different colour pencil if you wish, but I'm keeping this whole thing just yellow, black and white. That's all I'm doing. I'm not putting any more colour in. I will put a glossy in the middle, obviously, because that's the law, but I'm not going to go in with a different colour. I've got a nice colourful one next. So, we shall see. EastEnders only, Jenny. Yeah. No, I don't watch any of them. I think the last time I saw a soap was when that Cat, is her name? Cat said, "I am your mother." I mean, how long ago is that? Years? To the girl, when she told the girl she was a real mother, or boy, or whatever it was. Yeah, I don't watch it. So I've also got 3 here, separate, cut out, using the dies that go with, but I did trim into them a little bit more so that it's just the black outlines. It's not so, it hasn't got such a big white outline. There's a reason, because I want it to fit in the squares, you see. So there we are. And this one, I will do a little bit more ushing out instead of it being so dark in the middle. We'll have a little bit more. This is the way to colour, a la Tracey, as you can see. No care taken whatsoever. There we go, just working it out. But they're good for that. Those pencils, Inktense pencils, are good for that. So they're all going to be drying now. And we shall start to put this together. So what we want to do now is that's going to go on there. Okay? And we're going to put that one on flat. Alright? So I think I'll just glue it. It is still a little bit wet, but hey ho. I've got me hot gun thing here, so I'll just give it a little dry. Excuse the noise. Just to make sure it's not going to eke through and go wet all underneath as well. Yeah, it should be fine. I mean, I didn't put that much water on it, so we're going to put this one on flat. Okay. Because this has got all your pretty stamping on. Now, on it goes. Just make sure you've got a little bit of that yellow showing all the way around the outside. Or whatever colour you decide to do. I thought I'd go with bright and cheerful this time. I usually stick to blues and purples or pinks, but we go nice and cheerful. And now we need another piece. Doesn't matter what size it is, as long as it's just slightly smaller in width. Okay. And what we're going to do is get a knife, and we're going to decide where we want to cut it. So I'm going to cut it from here, and there's no you want to be able to see all them pretty flowers that you've done, but you want it to kind of cover these top ones that you haven't half finished. So I'm just going to get my knife and hopefully sharp and just do a nice gentle curve and cut it off. And that is then going to sit there, and my, what's it called? That is going to sit on there. Or you could use the smaller piece or whatever piece you wanted to use, okay? So this I'm going to raise up, all right? Or maybe not. No, I'll leave that flat and I'll raise that up. So the choice is yours. So on we go with that. There we are. So I'm going to pop that on there. So you can just see your flowers from underneath that you've coloured. There we are. While I'm sorting this, I'll just put my glosses on these so I don't forget to do it. I'm going to use the yellow ones, obviously. I always think yellow and black always reminds me of a bee. I don't know why. They always look like a bee, as if there should be a bee on it as well. There we go. Put them in the middle. And if you want to, you can put glossies on the bottom ones as well. But I'm not going to. I'm going to save my glossies because I've not got that many left. So then this is going to go on here. So you can see your curve. And it'll look different each time because every time you do the curve, it'll be slightly different. Jenny, you couldn't imagine. I mean, now you know how it's made, Jenny. How easy was it? So I've got thin strips of foam pad on the back of this because obviously I've done my film strip with a thin border around it. You can do it as wide as you want. You know, I mean, you could do this on an 8x8 card as well. It would work. You just make the film strip wider that way. Couldn't be any easier, really. But you can have a play about with it and do them as wide as you want. I've got no fingernails on this hand. I've snapped them all. There we go. Yeah, I haven't took the back off that one yet. These strips are really good. These are the strips that you use for shaker cards, eh? I got them off Hazel. They're from Studio Light, I think. Yeah, Studio Light ones. And they come in a couple of different depths as well. But getting them off when you've got no fingernails is not the best. I have on this hand, but not on that hand. Snapped them all off. There we are. That's it. They're off. And now, you just got to try and get your film strip on straight. So forgive me for putting my head in. There we go. Film strip on, and it's standing up. And now all you've got to do is put, whoops, straight will be good. Put your flowers in the middle. I've cut into them a bit, so they've got a bit of depth and dimension. Yeah, I know. I like this. They're just brilliant, aren't they? I mean, I don't know what it'd look like if you used the circles one. It'd be just as nice, I imagine. I need something in the middle of there to put that on. I haven't put one on this. Little tiny foam pad. Do grand. Just to lift it up a bit. I mean, you could do a different curve. You can do, if you've got an edge die, you could use an edge die on there, I guess. If you don't want to use the knife, because some people don't like using knives, do they? So, there's that one. And then that's the card almost finished. Now all we need, and I've done these birthday wishes, okay, this time. And I've got white with yellow, and I've got yellow with white. I wasn't sure which one I was going to use. I think the yellow background stands out better. I've got a bit of that on there. And you can put these wherever you want. You can put them wherever you like. I think I'm going to put them here for a change. So wishes there. And birthday. And a little tiny pearl in the middle there. Because I lost the bit out the eye. No idea where that went. I always lose those little tiny eyes. I put them there safe, and then God knows where they go. Right, so birthday wishes. There we are, card number 1. I like that colour combination, I think it's cute. Now I've got one of the backs off of the things stuck in there. There we go, dig it out. So, card number 1. Quite a muted card for me really, but I'm going to go with a darker coloured card because we've only been going for 20 minutes. So I shall do the second one. Oh, before I go on to the second one, I did do another one, but this time instead of using the small die, I used the really big die to make the film strip. And obviously you can see it's way bigger, so that would be a good option for an 8x8. But I decided to put it in the middle of this one. This is, you know, gone down that way, as you can see. So you can get 2 sizes of the film strips out of the one set, which I quite like. See, gone with purple again, which is why I went with yellow on this. And this one's got happy birthday wishes on it, and it's stamped all over. So that's those 2. I'll put photos of them up later, or tomorrow even, whichever, when the light's good. So the next one I want to show you is that one. I love this card, and it is so simple to do. So simple. So I've done a lot of prep, as you know, because you know how to do this really, you just need the idea. So if I put that there, this time I'm using medley leaves, and I have used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different leaves off of it, you know. So I've got, and this one I've decided to use 7 leaves, so I'm going to use this one here and just do that last one in there. Okay, so you've just got to see me stamp that one. Thanks, Brian. So if I bring in my trusty stamp platform, there we go, let's stamp this one out on the edge there. Just pop that in there. Now, anti-static bag, I will not forget it this time. Shall I do that one, or shall I do a bigger one? Ooh, the choice, there's so many choices. Let's see. Shall I have this big one? I like this one. Yeah, I'm going to go with that one instead of the single one. And this time I'm using polished gold instead of white like I did on that. I used white on that one. I'm going to use gold on this one. So, on with your bag. Just in case my grubby mitts have been on it. And there's some mark. This is not the juiciest pad, might have to go a couple of times. But we shall see. Yeah, one more maybe, do it. Sorry for knocking the camera. There we go. Perfect. If you had a juicy pad, that would work first time. So, pick it up, find yourself a piece of card and your polished gold, and then just polish gold it over the top. Knock it off, and then we can just give it a little heat up. A couple of seconds, it won't take long. Come away. There we go. Excuse the noise for a moment. And let's watch it go. Well, eventually it will, when your gun gets hot enough. Make sure you coat it all. That looks good to me. So, just now want to bring in, now the colours you choose, obviously it's up to you. I'm just going to bring in my silicone thing and some of the colours that I like to use. So we're going to start with peel paint. You don't have to use as many colours as this if you don't want to. So I've got my peel paint, my Villainous Potion, then I've got picked raspberry. I'm going to put the brushes next to it so I don't get all confused. Yep, and then we've got wild honey and a bit of scattered straw last. Not even sure whether we'll get to that one, but we never know. So, if deciding on how many colours you're going to use, you just put a band of each colour on. Now, I'm not sure if these are the juiciest inks I've got, but we'll go for it. And we're just going to go, I want it quite dark. I want this one colourful where the other one was quite light. So I'm going quite dark on the edge. And where the two colours are going to blend in together, I'm lightening it up a bit, because then you don't get so much of a horrible mark to try and, you know, blend together. There we are. So, number one. Now the purple and the green don't make the best colour, to be fair. They go a little bit browny in the middle, but it doesn't matter. So I start off away, and this one is it's not quite as juicy. So it does take a little bit more work, but you just basically want to band the colour all the way through. Okay, I'm better working that way around. So bring it up to the green then. And then you can always bring the green back down to the purple. Just try and blend it nicely there. As I said, it doesn't make the nicest colour there, so just be aware when you're doing your colours. But I do like the way it kind of comes down purple to green. I quite like that. Or you could start with blues, or just do 3 colours all the way down. It doesn't have to be all these. And then you can always go back in with your greens to catch over the purples as well. Try and blend that line out. I mean, your ink pads may be a little bit better condition than mine. I've had them such a long time. And then you can just darken that bit up. And from here on in, it's a little bit easier because the colours do mesh nicer together. But I did want to use the green and the purple, so that's them two. And now we've got pink, picked raspberry. I really know this is quite dry, so let's see if I can just wipe that bit off. I don't want green going on it. Start off again. Yeah, here we go. Actually, I might have got Kish Flamingo out. No, it's picked raspberry. No, it's a bit light. Yeah, it is light. I put the wrong lid on. Isn't it mad the way you know the colours of your ink pads? That looked a little bit on the light side. So here we go. It would have been alright, but I'm going to go darker, you see. I want dark colours. Like it. And then bring in your purple as well, and then you can just blend that line out too. You get like a sort of different colour purple. You just kind of go back and forward while you do this. Just wipe that up as well. And then I'm going to go in with my wild honey. Again, this one's really bright colour. I know it's not like me to use bright, is it? But there you go. I want it to stand out, and I'm going to finish with just a little bit of scattered straw at the bottom. On there, bring in your pink one so that you can blend it over the top. And you do have to kind of wait for this to dry a little, but it settles itself down just a bit. And then in with the straw. Put the right lids on. Be a good plan, wouldn't it? And then just the lightest bit at the bottom. Again, this is a light version of the honey, really, this straw one, so it does kind of blend itself out, really. But you can still go over the join line. There we are. Let's get this all off my fingers. And then kind of waft it dry a little, or give it time to dry at least. But because what you're going to do once it's dry is buff over the top of the gold embossing, and that will stand up a little bit brighter. Yeah. So now let's get the card ready before we start chopping it. With this one, I always put a backing on it. I don't know, I like a backing on it, and you can either lift it up or leave it straight down, or you can put that straight on the card, but I do like to have something underneath it. Again, this is a 5x6 card. No, 5x7 card, I do apologise, 5x7. So the mat I'm putting on it now is 4 3/4 by 6 3/4. So I've just brought it down just a little bit. Just gives another thing in the background. But like I said, put foam pads on if you want. But I'm going to put foam pads on that one, so I don't really want it too high. And this one measures 4.5 by 6. Okay. Now, it doesn't look like it's going to fit on there, but what we are going to do is, like this one, we're going to put a little gap in between it, so we kind of spread it out. Right, get your knife again. And I think it's 1, 2, 3. I'm going to do 4 cuts on this. So I kind of want all the cuts to go the same way. So there's 1. Okay. 2. 3. And 4. Right. Don't wait with your fingers. What's the green I used? It's peeled paint. Peeled paint. It's one of my favourites. I quite like that colour. That one's not a bad one. It's quite new, but the others are all quite old. So, and now I'm just going to turn them over and put some cardboard on the back of them. Cardboard strips. Just an old box. Now this was a really thick cardboard, so I ran it through my die cutting machine to squash it a little bit flatter, and it did the job. So when you put it on, just make sure you can't see it from the front. I mean, you don't need to do all the shaping to get it the same shape and all, but I suppose you could put the cardboard on first before you cut it if you so wished. You just got to make sure that you cannot see it as you cut the, you know, the shaping in it. You just don't want to see it, if you get me. And it does save using your foam pads up, and all those boxes that you get, you can use them too. So I'm just going to put pieces on here, I think, just so you can't see from the front. Yeah, I just fancy doing this one in gold. If you mess up, just move them along. Yeah, a bit of gold embossing, because I always tend to use the white. Somehow, I don't know. I always end up with white. I've just bought a massive pot of white too. There we go. And just some pieces on this one. Just to keep it up. I mean, you're going to take more time than me, obviously, when you do it. So I've kept them all in order so I know where they're going. So that one's going to go at the top, and then I tend to put the bottom one on as well. And then you can see how much room you've got in between for how much space you're going to put in between them all. Okay. So you can move that one up a bit. And you don't have to cut them this way. You can cut them lengthways. Matters not. Have a little play, see what you think, how you fancy doing it. So just make sure your bottom one's quite straight, and then once that one's on, you can start popping the other ones on. And then when it's all dry, like I said, you can give it a buff with a little bit of tissue to bring the gold back up again, because you've covered it with ink with the Distress ink, so then you can bring it back to life. But you can, I mean, I don't know whether you can see it on screen, but I can see it really quite well here. Did you blue that? Yeah. I can see the gold shining through already. So, it's just a slightly different way of using your stamps, isn't it? Making your own background sort of thing. And then your background creates the actual focal point, if you get me. So there we are. Let's just make sure that's straight, or is it veering off to one side? It's kind of veering off to one side. There we go, that's better. Straighten it up. That'll do. Now with this one, it's white. I don't know whether you can see the difference. Yeah, I think you can. I'm just checking on screen because it's a little couple of seconds behind. Yeah, you can see it. So with this one, it's white. It does stand out quite a lot. And I always run out of thank you cards. I always end up having to make them. So it's nice sometimes to, you know. And with this one, I shaped the top. With these, I haven't. I've kept it straight. So a slight variation. And then I've put thank you in gold. With this one, where it was placed against the background, I coloured the thank you and left the back white, as you can see. And then, but this one's just going to be straight white with a gold background. And this was the thank you profile dies, the Julie's. Love these. I love the size of them. So I'm going to whack that on there. And then if you want, you can put some glosses on. Not going to, because I think it's colourful enough. So there we go. So just a little variation on this one. Instead of cutting the shape, I've left it straight and not coloured the sentiment. So it's just slightly different. Again, I'll put these photographs on later so you can see them. See the difference between them. So, complete chaos all around me now. Let's wipe everything down, and I shall just bring in the cards. I mean, couldn't have been any simpler, could it, guys? 2 cards in an hour. I know I did a lot of prep, but there you go. So that's them. This I really like in the lilac. Oops. I really like that one in the lilac, and I really like it in the yellow as well. I think it's pretty. And it looks different, doesn't it? Completely different, using the big film strip and the small film strip. So there you go. I do hope that you have a go at it. I mean, the film strip's perfect for lots of things. You can put photos in it and everything. So there we go, girls and guys. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you in a fortnight. So just keep an eye on the website, on the Facebook page, and Julie and Philippa will let you know what's going on next, so you don't miss out. And have a good evening, and thank you very much again. Bye.